Right, let's not beat around the bush. Bitcoin is in a really bad position right now. It's dropped all of its support levels, but it's still got its main one at the $30,000 level. And there's something absolutely huge going on, not with Bitcoin, but with the dollar index that I want to draw your attention to. If we take a look at the dollar index, where is it? Right at the bottom over here, the dollar has been shooting up. Today's actually the first day that it's seen a little bit of a retracement since, the 21st. So basically more than a week that the dollar didn't retrace. And it's been going very, very strong. This is actually one of the strongest rallies that we've seen in the dollar for like years, literally for years. Take a look at this. I mean, the last time we saw the dollar like pretty much going parabolic like this was probably back here, in 2018. And, those of you who were in the space back then will remember what kind of effect this had on Bitcoin, obviously a very negative effect. And then obviously back here in 2016 around Trump's election as well. So very, very interesting what's been happening here. And if you've been watching this channel for a while, you're going to know that the dollar has a resistance area around over here. And this is something which I am taking very, very seriously, right? To see that the dollar is rallying up so strongly right now is cool. I mean, it is definitely hurting the markets, and people are really scared, by the way. I mean, the sentiment that I'm seeing in this space right now is just not representative of how bad this actually is, in my opinion. But you can see that, conventional indices, the S&P 500, for example, they have been tanking. I mean, from its high over here down to its low, it's been a 124-month basically bear market where it's dropped down by about 14%. So these, conventional markets are definitely suffering as well. But obviously Bitcoin's suffering quite a lot more than that. The first thing that I just want to make sure that we're retaining perspective of in this market right now is where our kind of key areas are on this chart, right? And I don't have any charts that have already drawn this other than this chart right here, although it needs to be shown like this, where, Bitcoin hasn't actually fallen out of the 30K range yet, right? And until we lose this range that, to me kind of stretches all the way down to here, or if you want to be a little bit less generous, perhaps just down to $35,000, until we lose either of these two areas, it's still not in a terrible place, in my opinion, right? I mean, like short term and mid term, we have a lot of bad signs because the market has been bearish over these last months. But, long term, just in terms of holding key levels, guys, the fact that the dollar has rallied up this much, right, over the past week, I mean, let's just retain perspective on this for a second, or I should say regain perspective on this for a second. When the dollar was ripping up, like say right here, for example, we're talking about like April 2018, around there, April 2018 to about August 2018. Let's just take a quick peek at what Bitcoin was doing at the same time, right? April 2018, that puts us right around over here, and then August 2018 was around over here, right? And this was a horrible bear market phase for Bitcoin. Obviously, it got much worse. It peaked and got to its worst point at the very end of 2018. And if we move back to where the dollar was at the very end of 2018, take a look at how high it managed to rise. That was right around over here. I don't know where I got August from. The dollar rally in this case was strongest between the months that Bitcoin was the weakest. And that's very, very significant in my opinion. If you take a look at how strong the dollar was, how much it was rising up just within this short phase right here, compare it to what's going on right now, I don't think that we're seeing a corresponding high enough level of pain for Bitcoin right now. Does that mean the pain is going to come and we haven't had it yet? I don't think so. I think, in a bear market, which we are in right now, in a pretty shitty market where things aren't really happening, if we have something which is, in my opinion, quite a negative bearish thing taking place in the market, and it's not actually affecting the market, to me, that's an incredibly strong sign. And the other thing that I think is really, really well worth putting in perspective as well, I mean, just asking you guys, I mean, many of us, I'm sure, definitely me included, are not, financial experts and macroeconomists and so on, but look, I don't think it takes a genius to say that the dollar is overall in a pretty weak position, and to see that it's temporarily spiking up like this, it's just not sustainable. This level has been resistance going all the way back to 2016, and that is, basically what, like 6 years now. My God, that's a long time. And so I have to expect that if this support area has held for a long, if this resistance area has held for a long time, it's probably going to continue to hold. That this could in fact be a fake out before this thing drops down massively again. There are obviously a whole host of real world factors that can influence this happening, not least to say the horrible administration in the United States right now. And so I think that because of these factors that are at play at the moment, and I am calling it a temporary rise in the dollar, I just don't see it going on forever. And the thing that really excites me about this is if we take a look at things like the fear and greed index, people are really scared right now. Yesterday we had a reading of extreme fear. Today we're at 28, but we've been hovering in, fear/extreme fear for a long time now. I mean, just 2 days ago we had a reading of 21 right here, so definitely dipping low on this scale. But again, this is all happening while we've retained our main area of support. Bitcoin's main area of support, just kind of, maintaining this upward trending line, not breaking below 30K. These are good signs, right? And the reason they're good signs is that, if we do lose these areas, if I drop a line right here at 30K, if we do lose this area, I just want to focus your attention on what happens in this gap right here. This gap is 30K down to 20K. There is no trading that took place for Bitcoin ever throughout its history over here, right? And so that makes it a very, very dangerous range. If we didn't really manage to establish resistance on the way up, we're probably not going to have support on the way down. That's just generally how it goes. That's exactly what happened on the way up over here and the way down over here. If you take a look at how quickly Bitcoin went from 30,000 over here to 62,000 over here, it basically didn't really get any resistance until it reached the high 50K range. And so naturally we fucking just crashed, just absolutely shit the bed. Things got really, really bad. That's normal. That's what happens when you don't manage to establish resistance levels when you're trading up. But again, that's why we've had a slower downtrend this time, because we had time to establish more of those levels later on. And that's why, again, like while we're at these, pretty strong areas of support, to me, I'm not seeing any signs that the 30K area has to fail yet. But at the same time, seeing that the dollar looks massively overextended, seeing that the fear and greed index is just shot absolutely horribly low, people are scared right now, and I don't like to be siding with the majority. This is exciting to me. This is a good sign to me. If we take a look at the last time that the dollar topped out over here, that was March 2020, and this was a little bit of a black swan event because, this was obviously the coronavirus market crash that we saw. But, I probably don't need to tell you this. When the dollar was in its downswing from, March 2020 down to basically January of 2021, so about 9 months, those 9 months were, some of Bitcoin's, best months in its life. I mean, this is March 20. I'm sorry, that was the wrong line. March 2020 right here to January 2021. Bitcoin managed to pull this off. And so it went from basically, call it $4,000 to $40,000. It pulled a 10 times gain within, 9 month period, not actually very long. So if we see something similar like that happening right now, again, the thing that I just want to remind you guys about is that we're at support right now. Like we're actually at a big, strong support level right now, while the dollar is at resistance. And if it does manage to drop down to the bottom of this range, and it's just been swinging in between, basically the high 80s and the low 100s. It's just kind of been swinging. It doesn't have to forever. I mean, there's a lot of price history, to this dollar index. I mean, it can shoot all the way up or it can shoot all the way down. But guess what the trend is for currencies like the dollar, ladies and gents? I mean, it's generally not a good one. It's pretty clear to me that this thing is overall trending down. It does get big spikes, big ones, like here, for example, huge one in the 80s, another one leading up to the .com bubble. So definitely, these things can, go way higher. But to me, it becomes a question of fundamentals. Do you really think that the dollar is going to be so strong? I'm pretty sure, was it like one big country took the Chinese yuan as like one of their currencies alongside the US dollar recently. I forgot what it was. Like, it's a small sign, but these are steps showing us that the dollar is just not as strong as it used to be, and it's potentially losing strength right now. again, when we consider that, it's at a resistance level, a macro resistance level at that, pretty big resistance level right now. If it does drop from here, we're looking at, if Bitcoin pulls a 10x gain again, if the dollar falls down to the bottom of this range, which is what happened last time, then yeah, we're looking at some pretty crazy price action. We're essentially looking at a $400,000 Bitcoin. So that's pretty crazy. But if we take a look at what happened over here, this is where it gets even more exciting, right? This peak, early 2017 to the low in February of 2018. If you guys were around during the 2017 bull market, this is when I joined. I've been in the markets now for about 5 years, so very, very cool. You're going to remember what Bitcoin did during that time frame. But if you don't know, the first line that I got to put is right here. Again, I put the wrong line there. That's the first line I want to focus your attention on. And then the beginning of 2017 right here. And if we compare the price levels, Bitcoin manages to rise from a meager $1,000 price tag all the way up to 20,000. So that's a 20 times gain. The first time around, Bitcoin pulls a 20 times gain. The next time around, Bitcoin pulls a 10 times gain. Even if that gain is going to keep on halving, that still means we're looking at going from 40,000 5 times higher, which still puts us at 200K. If we're seeing something similar happening with the dollar getting very, very weak again and Bitcoin potentially being bolstered up. The thing that I want you guys to consider at times like this is that, the fundamentals for Bitcoin haven't changed, right? I mean, Bitcoin is still as strong as it was, 5 years ago. And in fact, it's stronger. It gets stronger every day. And so really the only thing that's changing is the kind of fluctuations in the psychology of the market and so on, and people getting very exhausted and tired and scared and so on. And these are very natural, normal human emotions that, weigh on the market. And so being aware of them is actually very, very useful. This is one of the reasons a lot of people were asking me, Sammy, where are you? Why are you not making videos? Look, the market just hasn't moved much, but it doesn't change the facts. A lot of people during this time have completely lost faith in the market, even though nothing has happened. We haven't lost key levels. We absolutely have lost many short-term, even some mid-term key levels. But when we really zoom out, we haven't lost key levels, but people are completely losing their shit over this, which is a very good thing. When we have that kind of sentiment switch, what's happening is that, Bitcoins are being transferred, in what to me at the moment looks like it could be an accumulation zone. It might not be. I might be horribly wrong about all of this, but, it certainly was accumulation back in summer of 2021. Maybe it's accumulation now. Generally what we tend to see is the market will drop down, it'll flush people out, and during this time when people are being flushed out, the impatient are going to give their Bitcoins to the patient people, and then we start seeing another bull cycle kicking off again. The thing I want to remind you guys about, everyone's talking about multi-year bear markets and stuff like that. You know what? Maybe that's what we're in, but I would assign, I don't know, like a 2% chance that we're actually in a multi-year bear market, primarily because this bull market we've had from, breaking 20K to our high at nearly 70K just isn't strong enough compared to what Bitcoin has done in the past, right? I just showed you what happened in 2017, where when Bitcoin managed to surpass its previous all-time high, which in 2014 was at about $1,300, it went from 1,300 to 20K in one bull cycle, right? And so that is a huge, huge increase. In this case, we only saw like a 3.5 times increase from the previous all-time high. We went from 20K to 70. It's just not even close. It's 2017's bull market was more than a 10 times gain. This wasn't even a 4 times gain. You know what I mean? It's gone on. We've had so many corrections. We've had so much shit going on in this space, that to me, again, like the more you correct, the more extreme that next rally is going to be. That's exactly why I think, when we had that crash down to the 3K range, we were able to pull off such a stellar rally up to the 70K area, basically. The other thing to keep in mind is these markets, they need to flush out the toxins, right? We had all this NFT complete bullshit in the space. We had, just a lot of idiots that don't know what they're doing trying to join the space and making money by throwing around keywords. It's still happening. It's still happening everywhere, where people who know absolutely nothing about what crypto actually means and how to use it are trying to get in and make quick, easy cash. And as these things get flushed out, as the NFT buyers realize how stupid they are, and yes, I'm calling you guys out, that's where we start to see the market flushing out all of those toxins. the weak people selling, the supply that can be exhausted gets exhausted, and then the only thing you have left is the underlying demand, and that's where things can start picking up again. So a much more optimistic approach that I wanted to put forward in this video, because well, this is how I've been feeling, and it really is nothing different to how I was feeling before. The only new thing now is that I feel even more safe in my opinions because I've been watching how the dollar has been rallying. Now here's the thing: if the dollar does keep on rallying and it just keeps going parabolic, which is next to impossible in my opinion, but if it happens, obviously I think it's going to get a lot worse for Bitcoin. I think that if the dollar manages to break this resistance area, and it already has, by the way, I should have drawn it more like this. So it already has broken above the resistance area, but like I said, it could be a fake out. I mean, this isn't really a big breakout. It stretches up above by about 0.3%. So to me, that's not really a big breakout. It's more of a fake out. If it does get significantly higher, let's say to, I don't know, 104, maybe 105 for sure would mean that, we've seen a real breakout for the dollar. Then I don't know what we're looking at. I mean, that would be a very new, situation for the world. We wouldn't have seen the dollar rally like that basically since 2014. And it absolutely could happen. I just don't think it will. I just think that the US dollar is in a very weak position overall, and that this is temporary strength. The government in the United States is fucking with the currency so much right now that I don't even want to believe what I'm seeing. And again, that's one of the reasons that I am looking at this potentially topping out and then moving down. And again, that making me even more secure. That's making me feel even more secure in my ideas about this market potentially recovering for Bitcoin. And that's obviously very exciting for people who are in the space. I mean, recently you guys know about the trade I was able to pull off in Ethereum, which went amazingly well. Literally managed to go long right at the bottom of this little step down over here, and literally exited at the very, very top. And that has proven to be a very, very good idea. It's now in quite a nice pattern. It's actually behaving a little bit nicer than Bitcoin, in my opinion, where if we take a look at, the kind of patterns we're looking at, I think we are starting to see some potentially bullish patterns forming in the market, where we are condensing on the downside and the upside, basically narrowing down until eventually, the pressure is too much. And usually these kind of patterns, because it's sloping downwards, they usually do break upwards. This is showing us that we don't really have enough momentum to drop down, so we may be looking at reversing up. That's generally kind of what these patterns mean. And Bitcoin is doing the same thing right now. It's just not as clear. Here's Bitcoin's pattern. It's kind of similar. It's actually, it's clear enough, to be honest. You can definitely see it, but I think it's a little bit more obvious on Ethereum, and that's why I'm pointing it out to you right here on this market. Definitely is quite exciting for me, just seeing how this is playing out, potentially showing us that, we could be in for a little bit of a short-term rally relatively soon. Obviously, this is all super fun to be able to trade, and if you do want to jump inside of VIP and see what we've been doing in these markets, then bam, the steps are on screen right here. If you're looking to trade, and by the way, to even buy crypto, Bybit allows you to buy crypto using fiat. This is the only exchange I use. It's the only exchange I've been using for years, pretty much. I love them to bits. So check them out with the link in the description down below. You can literally buy crypto with fiat, like with US dollar. I don't know about US dollars, but with like every basically major currency depending on your country. It's all linked down in the description down below. This is the only exchange that I trust. Like I said, I've been using them for way long enough to know that if there's an issue by now, it should have come up, and I've never had a hiccup with Bybit, which is very, very impressive. To be fair, most exchanges these days are very stable, but Bybit has been head and shoulders above what I've been seeing in the rest of the space. So definitely check them out with the link in the description down below if you want to buy a little bit of Bitcoin, buy a little bit of Ethereum. Like I said, to me right now, look, people always ask me when is a good time to buy Bitcoin. It's when you're fucking scared, mate. That's when it's a good time to buy Bitcoin. And let me tell you what, I'm human like you. I get scared like you. I don't like seeing Bitcoin go, from 48 down to 38K. When it was like basically our only hope that we might be able to recover. It's not nice. And guess what? The rest of the market doesn't think it's nice either. And historically, when we've had times like this, these are good buying times. Does that mean it's a good buying time right now? No, not at all. This time could be different, but will it? These are the kind of questions you got to be asking yourself. At what point are you going to start taking calculated bets? Maybe it goes wrong, but usually it doesn't. So perhaps it's not a bad idea to buy a little bit now. I'm certainly going to be buying more Bitcoin around these ranges. And again, if you want to buy it and trade it on the same exchange that I'm using, then yeah, check out the link in the description down below. You're also going to be getting some free cash deposited into your account as a thank you for using my sign up link. So it's free money for you if that appeals to you. Obviously, everybody likes free money. All you got to do is, sign up using that link in the description and make your first deposit, and that bonus will be credited into your account. So that's the dollar index analysis, just shining really, really strong. I mean, if this thing does drop, the great thing about it is that it's probably going to drop pretty quickly. Historically, these reversals for the dollar, they happen very, very quickly. Literally, for the dollar, quick means basically a matter of a couple of weeks maybe at most. But perhaps not even that long. It could just be days. And so, I'm looking at perhaps by mid-May, we're probably going to have some significant development on where the dollar wants to go. Definitely by, June. If we put it this way, if the dollar hasn't reversed down by June, I'm going to start getting very, very concerned. But, right now, it's just screaming opportunity to me. People are scared. People are really convinced that we're in a bad bear market right now. Altcoins are falling to shit. I mean, absolutely just getting hammered right now. Look at Cardano right here, down by 6% today. I mean, altcoins are really, really suffering at the moment. Let's see what else we got here in the altcoin market. Solana down to $92. It's failed all of its support areas. It's even failed at 618. Like, these altcoins that were rallying really high, that people were very excited about, they're getting screwed right now while Bitcoin is maintaining its levels. Guys, I can't really, I don't know how else to tell you how good this is for the market, right? Like, fuck me. Yes, okay, you're losing a little bit of money with your altcoins. Shouldn't have been overinvested in them in the first place. Hopefully you were able to learn that before this happened, but if not, now you do. And by the way, I take this very, very tough love approach with trading, because you don't really get many chances to fuck stuff up like this. If you make screw ups like this, there's only so many that you can make until you're broke. So, you've got to be very, very harsh with yourself. Again, this is what we're kind of putting forward in VIP. It really is a boot camp for so many people to take their shitty trading habits and become very serious, competent traders that actually respect their funds and trade consistently well in sustainable ways. This is the time where you do that. It's a bear market right now. Things are moving slowly. This is the time where you open up the damn book and start reading and making sure that you're doing everything perfectly for when things do start spicing up again. That's my take. Of course, you don't have to do that, but if you are interested in seeing what I'm putting out for you guys, so that you can get on that journey, join the more than 1,000 other people that are in VIP right now, then click on the first link in the description down below. Then click on the @4flies button at the bottom of any post inside of 4flies Gold, and then click on send message to ask me how to join. These 3 quick steps will bring you into VIP. We'll show you how to join. But yeah, these altcoins just getting absolutely hammered. And I'm sure if we took a look at Bitcoin dominance, we would probably see that it's rising. Yeah, it's not rising by a lot, but it is rising. And the thing that you got to keep in mind is that even though we're only seeing basically a 2.5% increase from 41.3 to 42.3, that's a 1% increase, but relative to the chart, it's 2.5%. Even though it's a small 1% increase, I want you guys to keep in mind how big the market is. The crypto market, if we just hit up CoinMarketCap real quick, the whole crypto market cap right now is 1.7 trillion US. And so that means $170 billion, more or less, give or take, has flown into Bitcoin and out of altcoins. It's flown out of altcoins into Bitcoin. That's a lot. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of value. That's a lot of power. That's gone straight into Bitcoin. instead of altcoins, which is again a vote of confidence for the safer asset and a vote of weakness for the altcoins, because they're not strong in the first place. They just look like they're strong because they're rallying up and everyone gets rose-tinted glasses and they lose their objectivity. But these coins were never good in the first place, and we start to lift that veil a little bit more now, and guess what, most of the altcoins that you love right now, they just keep fading darker, deeper, further into the darkness, lower down on this list, down into towards the bottom, the top 100, but still, I mean, quite small market cap, at 100, at place 100 in the market caps here are only in the hundreds of millions, $600 million. It's not actually a very large market compared to what we're seeing at the top, with Bitcoin being nearly $1 trillion market, with Ethereum being more than $250 billion market at $335 billion market cap. I mean, the scale is absolutely unreal. I mean, these coins are nothing, and they just keep fading lower and lower and lower, and new ones that look hot will take their place. That's what happens in these market cycles, and we're getting that flushing out of toxins taking place right now. If you think your altcoins are especially strong, then perhaps it's a good idea to hold on to them because they can recover. I certainly wouldn't be too worried about some of these picks, like Cardano and Solana, for example. I think there's plenty of space for coins like that. But on the flip side of that, obviously, you got to keep in mind that it's only really the big ones that are, generally going to have a higher chance of surviving. And again, right now, with everything being washed out, it can get a lot worse before it gets better. But this is at a crucial point right now. I mean, it really is a huge reversal point, and it's just, I mean, I think you would be foolish to ignore this. I think you'd be foolish to think that this can continue on forever, and more importantly, that this dread in Bitcoin, can continue on forever. I just don't see that happening. I mean, it's gone on for so long right now. It's not really a correction that the market needed. It's not like the market rallied up to 200k within 10 days or something, and so now we need to be punished with such a horrible bear market. This is literally, in my opinion, an overcorrection, and has been for a long time, and I've been saying that for a while. We're still at the same price levels. Like I said, things haven't really changed, and that's what I kind of wanted to put forward in this YouTube video. So there you go. It's been a little while since I made a video, but I hope you have enjoyed it. It's good to be back. I'm not sure how, I told you guys before, I don't know how frequently I'll be uploading in this market state right now, but when there is something reasonable to say, I'll be back. I would like to start daily uploading again, to be honest, but yeah, I'm gonna take it step by step in this market, because I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste my time, if there's nothing indeed to say. But obviously, yeah, I mean, I'm seeing a huge calm before the storm right now. I'm seeing facts. The facts are we're still above 30k. Fact. We haven't crashed down yet. Fact. The dollar has risen so high, and Bitcoin is where it is right now. I mean, to me, that is such a strong testament to its strength, that I had to highlight it. I had to make a video exclusively about this to make sure that you knew about it as well. If you did find this video useful, do me a favor and smash up the likes, subscribe to the YouTube channel as well, tick the bell if you haven't done so already. Check out Bybit if you want to buy crypto. Like I said, I'm going to be buying a little bit more around here, dollar cost averaging and so on. So if you want to join me in that, and you want to do it on the exchange that I'm using, then Bybit is the place. And like I said, you get some free cash when you make your first deposit using my sign up link in the description down below. Depending on where you are going to need a VPN. I'm using a VPN right now. And yeah, that's Bybit. And if you do want to jump into VIP, totally transform your trading, really kick all the bad habits to the dust, build new, better habits on top of them, become a sustainable, healthy trader in this market for when things heat up, this is the best place to be. So check it out. We've helped many traders transform themselves in this way already. And if you want to become one of them, then all you have to do is follow these 3 quick clicks. First link in the description down below. That's going to take you to our free Telegram channel where you get more analysis from myself and my team around the clock, free of charge. And then just click on my name at the bottom of any post there and then send message. It's very easy, very straightforward to join, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.